He has the complete writings of Mahatma Gandhi that talk about the purpose of life and being of service to others and the importance of sacrifice. Those kind of ideals that we strive to meet. But at the same time, right across, he has all these books on modern management that talks about running a corporation. And, you know, some people would think that the two would have nothing in common. But, see, he understood that we all have to live to higher ideals. But the work is done on a daily basis. And so you got to have the preparation.
Well, he was a very
daily
practical man.
Well, he was. He was a practical idealist. That's one of the words that...
That's an interesting combination.
He was a practical idealist, yeah.
I'm looking over your shoulder. Is it all right if I touch?
Sure.
I feel like I'm in a museum. But what is this?
You know, this is a shorthandle hoe, and it's really an implement of infamy. There was many hundreds of thousands of farm workers that backs were destroyed because of working all day long, bent over, using the shorthandle hoe. And one of the big rallying cries for the movement in the 70s was to outlaw the shorthandle hoe. And so this is kind of a little memento that was given to my father after the hoe was outlawed here in the state of California, as a kind of reminder that if you work hard, that you can make a difference.
So these are not in practice anymore, the short-handled hoe.
They're not supposed to be in it for the I guess for the vast amount of work, you don't see them in the fields anymore.
See, I didn't know I didn't understand the significance.
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed it up here on the shelf.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing when you asked about the visitors come in. You see a lot of old timers come in and they'll look around and they'll see that and they focus on that instrument, and you can see them explain to the kids the horrors that this is.
This was not a pleasant part of their past history.
It's a part that people would like to forget.
Right, now looking right over here, I noticed this as well. This is powerful right here.
Well, you know, this is a painting that was commissioned actually by Jane Fonda, a Mexican artist by the name of Octavio Ocampo. But you know, it's an illustration that really represents the two sides of agriculture. You know, on one side, it talks about the abundance and the nutrition that agriculture provides to the world. On the other side, it talks about the exploitation and kind of the bad part of agriculture, where workers are taken advantage of and our natural resources aren't protected. And so, you know, the image really talks about both sides of agriculture. But you can see my father's face is really comprised of a lot of different images. On the good side of agriculture, you can see his white hairs are really banners, people in marching in struggle. And on the other side, his white hairs are comprised of widows who are mourning. And you can look, you know, his lips are doves and his nose are banners. And it's just, if you look at
there is a lot to see here. This is the original. The copy is out in the hall there.
We have it in here for safekeeping for right now. But yeah, this is the original. You know, if you look, just another thing, if you look at the mountains here, you can see the mountains here are really hands lifted in struggle. Fist clenched in struggle, and the other side, it's bodies strewn on the landscape there.
Wow, there, you know, this is a very powerful place here, with the shrine, with the music, with, I guess these are pictures of the kids over here, the grandkids.
A couple of the grandchildren, and my grandmother, Nana Juana, my grandmother, my father's mother, who really instilled this sense of service and nonviolence in my father from a very young age.
Now, I know that he's been gone for almost 15 years now, but when you come here, I'm not trying to sound overly melodramatic, do you still...
I feel his presence here. I do when I come in here. And actually, there's times when, you know, when you have to make tough decisions and you need some inspiration, I'll find myself coming in and poke around the office. And
really?
Yeah, there is something in this room.
Now, this is another permanent exhibit, right?
It is, right? This is it's a replica of farm worker housing. You know, we have a lot of people that come in and don't even know where food comes from. Many people think it comes from a supermarket, and this is just an extension of that. You know, it's important that people understand the sacrifices that people make to bring the greatest abundance of food that this world has ever known, to bring it to our tables on a daily basis at prices that are affordable. And so we want people to understand the sacrifice and the contributions that immigrants and farm workers make to this society.
This is powerful as well.
Well, it shows you the stark conditions in which people live in and put up with in an effort to try to get by and to produce, you know, food for the rest of the world.
Would you, I don't want to get political here, but would you say that this represents the past, or is this still
Well, no.
part of present-day California?
Well, you know, it speaks about the past, but the work continues, you know. There's a lot of work to be done, and actually part of the work of the center just isn't to talk about the past. It's also to let folks know that there's a continuing struggle that goes on, and that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And so this is a reminder of the past, but also it speaks about what we're up against today as well.
There is history everywhere here in this visitor center, including this. Oh, this is a banner, a flag?
It's a banner of the Virgen of Guadalupe, but actually, this was a banner that the marchers carried from Delano to Sacramento in 1965. It was the first march. It was a 350-mile march from Delano to Sacramento, and this is the banner that led the way. You know, we had lost it, and we recently found it, and so we have it up to remind people of the original march.
I would imagine things come into the visitor center, don't they? People donate things over the years,
You know,
or you discover things?
Exactly. We'll have a lot of people coming in saying, my father's passed away, but he had this here, and he wanted us to make sure that the visitor center had it. And so we're gathering artifacts all the time and looking for ways to put them up in the different exhibits. But this is an example of things that out of the past that have come back into our possession.
Well, it doesn't get any more historic than this. The banner from the very first march.
1965.
Back in 1965. Now that is a piece of history right there. Here come the kids, and Alex, you give tours here at the.
That's correct. These kids are from the Arvin area down in the...
Arvin, right? Everybody's from Arvin. Well, now that's an agricultural community, so a lot of these kids' families could actually